Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're going on a bit of a quest to solve some of the internet's most divisive, passionate arguments. You know the ones. If you've spent literally any time online, you've probably seen comment sections completely melt down over seemingly basic math problems. People calling each other names, questioning each other's sanity, all over a handful of numbers. Well, today we're going to crack the code and find the absolute mathematical truth.
All right, let's dive right into this deceptively simple-looking equation that sparked an absolute war in our source materials comment section. 8 divided by 2 multiplied by the sum of 2 plus 2. I mean, it looks like something you'd see on a middle school pop quiz, right? Yet thousands of grown adults cannot agree on the answer. Take a really close look at this setup. How would your brain naturally process this?
Depending on how people read the equation, they argue passionately, and I mean really passionately, for either 16 or 1. Some commenters are absolutely convinced you solve the entire right side first to get 8, and then divide to get 1. Others, well, they insist you have to work left to right after the brackets, landing on 16. So which one is the actual mathematical truth?
You know, this beautifully illustrates exactly why we desperately need a universal decoder ring to unify our answers. Without a strict agreed-upon framework, math is literally just chaos. Think about it. If we all calculated aimlessly based on whatever operation caught our eye first, airplanes would fall out of the sky and buildings would collapse. We absolutely need order.
Enter BODMAS. This is the strict sequence of operations you must follow to guarantee an accurate result. It's our roadmap. It stands for brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Whenever you face a multi-operation problem, you just start at the top with brackets and systematically work your way down the list.
Now, what's actually really interesting in this acronym is the O. A lot of people tend to forget what it means. It stands for order, or sometimes it's referred to as of, and it reminds us to calculate powers, square roots, and exponents right after clearing our brackets. So if you've got a number squared, you've got to handle that before you even think about multiplying or dividing.
And hey, speaking of brackets, it's definitely not a free-for-all. When dealing with multiple sets of brackets, we have to always work from the inside out. You simplify the innermost round brackets first. Once those are out of the way, you tackle the curly brackets. And finally, you clear out the outermost square brackets. It's kind of like unpacking a set of Russian nesting dolls.
Okay, let's test this framework on an expression without any brackets at all, just to see how an equation shrinks down line by line. We have 17 minus 24 divided by 6 multiplied by 4 plus 8. So without brackets or orders to worry about, where do we actually start? Well, we jump straight to division and multiplication. By performing the division first, 24 divided by 6 gives us 4. Then the multiplication. 4 times 4 is 16. Finally, we handle the addition and subtraction, just scanning from left to right. 17 minus 16 is 1 plus 8, and boom, we effortlessly reach 9. You see how methodically that collapses? Let's move on and see how this builds with another highly contested equation from the comments. 4 minus 4 times 4 plus 4. In the source material, users were somehow getting answers ranging from positive 16 all the way down to negative 8. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when you calculate rogue left to right without any rules. If you just read it like a book, 4 minus 4 is 0, times 4 is 0, plus 4 is 4. But actually, scratch that, that's completely wrong. Using BODMAS, we absolutely must multiply first. 4 times 4 is 16. The equation then becomes 4 minus 16 plus 4, which locks in the mathematically sound reality of negative 8. All right, you're doing great so far. Let's step it up a notch and look at a seriously intimidating problem with nested brackets to see if our hierarchy holds up. 1800 divided by an absolute mess of square, curly, and round brackets. Just look at all those operations. Where do you even begin with something like this?
Remember those Russian nesting dolls? By patiently solving the innermost round brackets first, 12 minus 6 is 6, and 24 minus 12 is 12. Add those together to get 18 inside the curly brackets. Then, multiply that by 10 inside the square brackets to get 180. Finally, 1800 divided by 180, and this big, scary equation collapses neatly into 10.
So a really crucial point you might have noticed in that last example is what happens right outside a bracket. If there is no mathematical operator, like no plus, minus, or division sign between a number and a bracket, what do?
Well, the universal rule here is that you must multiply them. It's basically a hidden multiplication sign. And there are a few other vital expansion conditions to remember too. Opening a bracket with a plus sign in front just drops the brackets entirely. But a negative sign outside a bracket flips the internal signs, so all positive terms become negative. And just like we discussed, a number or variable parked right next to a bracket means you have to multiply that outside term with every single term on the inside.
Okay, here it is, the moment of truth. Now we are fully equipped to solve the exact math mystery that started this whole explainer. 8 divided by 2, parked right next to a bracket containing 2 plus 2. We know the rules now, we know about the hidden operations, so let's settle this debate once and for all, shall we?
Following BODMAS, we obviously solve the bracket first. 2 plus 2 is 4. Our equation is now 8 divided by 2 times 4. And right here is the critical step. Division and multiplication actually have equal priority. When you're left with just division and multiplication, you must solve them by scanning from left to right. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So why in the world were so many commenters getting 1? Well, they mistakenly thought the M in BODMAS always beats the D, meaning they thought multiplication strictly comes before division. But guys, that is a huge misconception. Multiplication and division are actually on the exact same tier, just like addition and subtraction. Because they share priority, we have to go left to right, making 16 the undisputed champion of this viral math problem. Let's make absolutely sure this is permanently etched in your brain. Before we wrap up, let's walk through a comprehensive master test to ensure you've got this structure down cold. We've got square brackets, round brackets, hidden multiplication, division, and addition. Literally everything we've learned is packed into this single line. Following our trusty roadmap, you find the innermost round bracket. 6 plus 1 is 7. Then you hit the hidden multiplication for the outside term. 3 times 7 is 21. Next, resolve the outer square bracket. 25 minus 21 is 4. Then step outside the brackets to perform the division. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And finally, gracefully land on the final addition. 1 plus 9 gets us to 10. Perfection! Now you possess the ultimate decoder ring to bring order to any chaotic internet math debate. Seriously, the next time you see a comment section going up in flames over a simple equation, you'll know exactly what to do. So I'm going to leave you with this final challenge directly from our source material. Can you crack this final equation using BODMAS? Take a screenshot, work it out, and trust the process. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep on learning.